Hello, good afternoon everybody. Are you going to join us? No? Good, I think we may still have one or two more people coming as they find their way here and so on. And yes, there we go, great. Please come forward, join the tables. Great. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for coming to this Conservation Campus event. My name is Phillip Baum. I work for UNEP World Conservation Monitoring Centre, which is based in Cambridge, England. And one of my roles there is coordinating the capacity building work of the Biodiversity Indicators Partnership, which I'm going to talk more about in a minute, but this is an event organised as part of the Biodiversity Indicators Partnership. And we've been doing capacity building workshops and developing resources to support national level biodiversity indicators for quite a few years now, over 5 years in the current way. And what we're going to do here today is give you a mini version of some of the capacity building workshops we do and introduce you to some of the materials that we have produced to hopefully help you in your work in developing biodiversity indicators. I'm working today with a former colleague of ours who's now an independent consultant, Tristan Terrell. Thanks, Phil.
So my name is Tristan Terrell. I'm a freelance consultant these days working in Montreal in Canada. I used to be the assistant coordinator of the Biodiversity Indicators Partnership when I was working at WCMC before going out on my own. These days I'm mostly working with the CBD Secretariat on indicator development and review of potential indicators for policy use. I've also been supporting some national indicator development in parts of the Middle East, and I am about to start a contract with Environment Canada developing national level indicators on land use change in Canada. There are a number of people here whose English is not necessarily all that great. I'm thinking of one person in particular who came forward. If there's anyone else who feels that we're speaking too quickly or don't quite understand, please do put up your hand or call us aside and we'll try and explain things to you directly. Thanks so much.
Yes, I don't know if anybody else has language that they can help with. Yo hablo español. Is anybody a Spanish speaker here? There was a Mexican who was signed up to join us, but no? Okay, that's no good. Great. Well, in a minute I'll explain the program and a bit more, but actually what I would really like to do is first for us to introduce ourselves a bit more. Who are we here and what are your expectations from this afternoon? I know you've already said something if you've registered on the website, but so that we get to know each other a little bit more, I'd like to ask you if we could just pass the microphone around and introduce yourself and just say a few words about why are you here this afternoon.
My name is Florence Clap. I'm working at the IUCN French Committee. I'm involved in the program related to biodiversity policies. And in that program we work on the national strategy for biodiversity, but we are not directly involved in the identification of indicators. But we work specifically on indicators for the private sector and also for local and subnational authorities. And we are working actually on the definition of indicators based on the Singapore Index for subnational authorities.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Tatiana Yashina from UNDP Altai Sayan project from Russia. And we are developing the regional system of biodiversity indicators. And I'm here because this system should be not a self-goal, but it should be also involved into national reporting on the CBD. So the need is to make all these two systems interacting.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stu Butchart. I work for BirdLife International at their Global Secretariat in the UK. I guess I've been working on biodiversity indicators for about 10 years. I was quite heavily involved in synthesizing the indicators to report on the 2010 targets and also helping to define the indicators for the 2020 Aichi targets. I guess I'm here this afternoon because I'm quite interested to learn from everyone else that's come here what their needs are and what the opportunities are to feed through the extensive data sets that BirdLife has that can help countries to set targets, implement action to achieve them, and monitor progress towards them. And say a little bit later on a little bit about that.
Hi everybody, my name is Ilona. I'm from the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. It's an NGO. Israel has prepared a document with the headline National Biodiversity Strategic Plan, but when you read it, you see that it's not a really action plan, and since the government is having a bit of a hard time doing anything really which is an actual action plan, we would like to give them a hand, and that's why I'm here, to try and push forward this whole issue.
Hello, I'm Shinichi Sakuraba, work for the NGO at the Nature Conservation Society of Japan. First of all, I'm very poor in English to communicate. Now I'm running the national monitoring program, especially in agriculture ecosystem, and develop the national indicator. Now in Japan, Japan's government revised NBSAP and Outlook, but those indicators is not enough. So I want to improve those indicators by my works. Thanks.
I'm Phillip Baum. I work for the National Focal Point for CBD and Ramsar Convention in Thailand. And we already made it in this app, but there's a lot of problem about indicators, so I want to learn more. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mundos Gremos from Lithuania. I'm from NGO, and my primary interest is to assist our ministry to prepare a good national biodiversity strategy and action plan, and especially part on bioindicators. I don't know on what side, since this is at a very initial stage, this preparation of this new biodiversity strategy. We had an old strategy, but this is absolutely outdated. Now we are preparing new biodiversity strategy. We are saying we because the ministry is the stage is now very early, so we are still having consensus with the ministry on everything. But I don't know, we end up in good cooperation or in some contradictions. So, but we from NGO side would like to push, get good, real, concrete indicators, measurable as well.
I'm Axel Melchsteiner with the Center for Conservation Research at the Calgary Zoological Society in Canada. And I'm interested in this for two reasons. One has to do with indicators for a rich country and one for a poor country. And so basically, on a Canadian level, the Canadian government is currently, frankly, looking for shortcuts to, I think, avoid taking serious action in terms of nature protection. And I want to make sure that I better understand these indicators to see if that's happening. And we also do work in West Africa, in Ghana. And so I'd like to see it from a poor country perspective, what is actually feasible? What indicators can one expect compared to a rich country, for instance, in terms of goal setting and in terms of achieving those things?
My name is Yoji Natori, Conservation International, based in Japan. I'm a member of the core team of the CBD policy at Conservation International, so my main activity is at the international level, but since I'm based in Japan, I'm also try to contribute domestic level, national level indicator development, and discuss this at the policy level quite a bit, but we haven't discussed at the CBD meetings what the indicators should be and how they should be developed and so on. So I thought that this is a good opportunity to learn those things. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Namu. I'm from Korea. I'm working at the Marine Protected Area Center. That's a government affiliate supporting the Ministry of Maritime Affairs. So some of my works is related to management effectiveness. To do that, we also use some kind of different kinds of like indicators, to assess the effectiveness of our employee management system. So, but I'm not, in this area actually, developing the indicators. But since as a manager of my center, I'm highly interested in this sector. Thank you.
I'm Tetsuo Fujiyoshi, a Japanese field journalist. I write about peace and environmental issues. I was not at the CBD meeting in Nagoya, so I just wanted to learn more about what the Aichi targets were.
Hello, my name is Anna Finke, and I'm working with a funding agency for the Ministry of Research and Education in Germany, and in the area of social-ecological research, and I think it's a very important topic, and I have not yet had any capacity building on that, and that's why I'm very interested in this. And just to let you know so that you're not surprised, I'm afraid I have to leave a bit earlier, so yeah, sorry for that, but thanks for the opportunity here.
Afternoon, my name is Andrew Donaldson. I work for the National Environmental Planning Agency in Jamaica. My interest is that we are amending or updating our National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, and we would like to put indicators in it to show that we are achieving the targets or near the targets that we're developing.
Great, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. So I can hear that we have different levels of involvement in developing indicators, biodiversity indicators at the national level and also internationally. In a moment I'll explain the program, but I think first I'll explain the information that we have given you in these packs. Some of you have already started to see here this leaflet on the Strategic Plan for Biodiversity 2011-2020 and the Aichi targets. This is produced by the CBD Secretariat, and so it has the text of the strategic plan that was agreed in Nagoya in 2010 and all the Aichi targets. And so this is the context. This is like the big picture, the framework within which we're all working in developing national indicators, indicators for these targets and for reporting on them and so on. This workshop is called Developing National Indicators for the Aichi Targets, Skills and Resources. And so the exercises that we're going to be doing are designed to help contribute to that, but I hope you will forgive me when actually we're not planning in the time we have this afternoon to go in detail to look at all the Aichi targets and what might be the indicators for those targets and so on. Partly because that takes whole afternoon at the very least, to look at the 20 targets and all the possible indicators there might be for them and so on. Also because there are not yet agreed indicators for these Aichi targets at the global level. There are some proposals. They're going to be discussed at the COP11 in Hyderabad next month. And that would be a framework of global level indicators for these targets. But it's important to understand that at the national level, for developing national biodiversity strategies and action plans, that countries should see the framework of Aichi targets as a framework, that they should be setting national targets, hopefully, and within that framework. But it doesn't mean that each country will set a national version of each of the Aichi targets. So there are 20 Aichi targets, but it doesn't mean that each country is expected to set 20 mini national Aichi targets. It means that they should be looking to set their targets which contribute to achieving the global ones. And there might be, and that would be depending on the priorities and situation of each country as to what targets, what subjects they want to do. And one national target may contribute to achieving more than one Aichi target. And so, in that case, the indicators for Aichi targets would also depend on a country-by-country basis, depending on what targets you set. And so, what we want to do in this workshop is to give you some skills and tools to help you with the process of defining national targets and how to make them successful. Sorry, defining national indicators and how to make them successful, so that you can carry on doing that. And the Biodiversity Indicators Partnership exists also to give some support to you in that. So we can have some discussion later towards the end of the workshop about perhaps the specifics of Aichi targets and indicators if you wish, but actually at the moment we're not going to look in detail at the strategic plan, if that's okay. What we're going to use in the workshop to support you is this guidance document, Guidance for National Biodiversity Indicators Development and Use. And on the inside page, there is this diagram, Biodiversity Indicators Development Framework. And we're going to do a couple of exercises to introduce you to this framework, to learning what's involved in it, with the aim that hopefully you will be encouraged and able to start using it yourselves to guide your national work. And we also have this report on biodiversity indicators, capacity strengthening experiences from Africa, which gives examples of indicators produced at the national level from Eastern and Southern Africa from a project we did a couple of years ago. So those are some of the resources, and then there's also, I won't see it just here, but there's also a CD-ROM here. In your packs, and the information on the CD-ROM includes PDFs of the guidance materials, more information on the Aichi targets, a series of guidance documents on each of the Aichi targets and possible indicators which have been produced by the CBD Secretariat, and other information that we have produced in UNEP WCMC, some examples of indicators and reports, so a whole series of resources on this CD-ROM, which you can look at and use later, if you wish. So, this is to introduce our program for today. So we're just doing the first part, introductions, expectations, and in a moment we're going to do an exercise called baseline lineup. Stand up, move about. Then I'm going to give an introduction to the basics and purpose of indicators. So what is an indicator? We just need to cover that. And then we're going to start doing this group exercise. Sitting in your tables, you'll see these flags that you've got on of the new countries that you're now citizens of. So we're going to ask you to be indicator developers for your new countries and do some exercises, some workbooks together, report back in groups doing that. This is something that we've tested and developed in different parts of the world, has been very popular. So we're going to be doing some learning by doing exercises around that. Learning the biodiversity indicator development framework. And we'll have a break at 3:30 for 20-30 minutes in the middle of that. And then at 5:30, we've got half an hour for conclusions, discussions, next steps. How does that sound as a plan? Okay? Great. So, just introduce to you the Biodiversity Indicators Partnership. It's a CBD mandated collaboration with over 14 organizations globally supporting the production of biodiversity indicators. There's a secretariat, a unit of us based at my office, UNEP WCMC, the UNEP World Conservation Monitoring Centre, which is in Cambridge, UK.